Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to our weekly market update. Today I've got Fraser with me. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So, how's the week been in property management this week?
We've actually been pretty busy over this last week and the week before. We've leased out multiple properties.
Okay.
And had plenty of interest on our new properties we've been bringing to market as well.
Good.
So
yeah, okay.
It's as if now the weather, we're slowly getting through winter.
Yes. Starting to get
some more interest.
People. Yeah, okay. And the amount of applications per property, is that sort of staying similar? Or
I'd say on average on our properties we've got on the market, so we've got 15 on the market.
Yep.
And I'd say on average by the time they're leased out there's at least 4, 5 or 6 on most properties, so there's definitely still interest there.
Yep.
Just depends on the price point and things like that.
Yeah. And that 15, that was at 23 a couple of weeks ago, so it's come down a bit.
Yeah, so as I said, we have leased a few out over the last couple of weeks, which has been good. Getting some new tenants in and
Okay, well, that's good.
It's been good. How's the sales over the weekend?
Sales has been interesting. We've actually had similar, we've had some really good numbers to open homes to 3 properties now, 2 this weekend. We had 7 and 4, 2 last weekend. We had an 11, so there's been sort of
still a few buyers about that.
pretty big numbers for a change where we were kind of feeling like it was 1s and 2s at everything for a few weeks.
Quiet for a while.
Well, we've still had a few property with 1s and 2s. We've certainly had a few now with some pretty big numbers, and we had 1 property with 7 offers this week, so really competitive on that one. It felt like a campaign did 2 years ago sort of thing, so there's certainly a lot of interest there for well priced and well marketed properties, and it's generating a lot of buyer interest. So we are we've still got people looking. I guess they're just responding to the properties that are priced right, I suppose. And that's sort of the difference. We're looking at the days on market numbers this week. Pretty scary, really. I think our market average now for the Huon Valley is at 169 days on market now. That was about 30 days a year ago, so that's kind of I've never seen it blow out that quickly, that long, that fast, and more than half the properties in Australia on the market now have been on for more than 90 days. So that's sort of becoming a trend across the country, that there's a lot of properties that are on for quite a while, and there's still a reasonable amount of sales transacting. It's probably the people meeting the market transacting more, so is probably the thing across the country. So
it's good for owners. At least there's that little bit of upside there, that if it's priced well, then there's still definitely buyers about coming to open homes and interested.
Prices are still pretty good, really. They might not be quite at the peak they were a year ago, but they're certainly still quite good, and still some reasonable results out there. So we are seeing still a reasonable amount of conditional subject sale type offers around, and things happening where there's a little bit of a less risk environment there for people. So that's certainly been something that we've seen a lot of. But speaking of stats, we just got our stats through late last week for the market share stats and updates in the market, and the sales volume in the Huon Valley market is certainly down around 80 sales for the 12 months compared to last year. Rentals are about the same amount leased as the year before, pretty similar. Our market share is still about the same, still around the 30% in sales and 40% in rentals. So, still number 1 clearly in both. So that's certainly, exciting to see. We probably felt that we've been listing a lot less properties than what we normally would, but we're still clearly number 1 in the listings as well. So it's certainly, good for the team to see the detail of those numbers and look at that in comparison to where we're sitting in the market. But surprisingly, that the volume of transactions everywhere has slipped down. So percentages have stayed similar, but the volume of transactions is a lot less.
It feels like, as you said, it obviously feels like you're doing less transactions and less sales, but it's just the market in general, because it's the same all over. And the market share hasn't really changed since last year. So
it's still about the same. In the community this week, last Saturday we were the major sponsors again of the Indigenous round at the Hilda Lions game. So had the Indigenous tops with different logos. The property management team, Jordan sponsored a team, and the office sponsored a couple. So we've had a different, some different sponsorships, and all the jumpers were sponsored on the day. We were up there with our handball and gave away a fair few footballs and lots of chocolates to
the kids. It seemed as if the kids liked it.
They did.
Got some fun out of it.
Yeah,
the goals.
It was a good day up there, and it's good that we like supporting the Indigenous round. It's certainly something we've been involved with since its inception, and really proud the club jumped onto that one early and have been leading the way in the league for that. I guess this month we're doing raising money for city missions. So if anybody wanted to drop anything into our office, any non-perishable items, there's some signage and a tub out front. So that's just a reminder on that one. We're doing that internally, but it is open for anyone else if they want to drop anything in there. So, so that's probably the most of the wrap up for this week. We're finding inquiry volume is probably steady. It's down a little. The new listings, we find most inquiries are probably coming in week one for a lot of the properties at the moment. Probably the same with the rental properties really. It's there's a lot of people watching and they're reacting instantly almost to the combination of buy mail outs and the alerts and things that they're giving that it's very, very active that people are there straight away. We've also had some very big off-market sales that probably no one will find out too much about, but there's certainly been some good results there over the last few weeks as well. And a few properties, a couple of rented off-market as well, where we've sort of put...
Yeah, we have. We've just owners come to us, and then we obviously, because we've got bulk tenants we deal with, so there's always people we can suggest to owners, and we've had a couple of them go through, which has been good. Yeah,
it's that's probably enough for us this week. We'll let you go and enjoy your week and see you next week on the update.